I'm Brian Winnikins. We're at the NAFB convention in Kansas City, and thank you to our NAFB sponsors, including Mycogen Seeds. Matt Carl's your representative serving Northwest Wisconsin. Also BASF, Ashley Gausman, your representative in Northwest Wisconsin. Darrell Equipment Services, Plainview, Minnesota, and Woodville, Wisconsin. And Samantha Brantner, your DeKalb Asgrow Seeds provider in Northwest Wisconsin. I'm with Lucas Lentsch. He is with the Midwest Dairy Association. He's actually the CEO, but we're going to be talking a little bit about some of the national dairy products. And Lucas, thank you for joining us. Well, first, let's talk a little bit about Men's Health. It's No Shave November, and that's what you're taking part in.
You know, as a CEO of Midwest Dairy Association, I've come to appreciate that our farmers are very engaged in their farms, and as a result of that, sometimes not taking out the time to check out their own personal health. And so, No Shave November or Movember is something that a lot of our CEOs across the country are participating in. Even if we may not have the best face to sport whiskers, it's a lot of fun. So first off, if you're out there listening, and take some time for you and your family and get your health checked out.
I used to always do that for deer hunting because, you know, in Wisconsin, deer hunting, the gun deer season is kind of like a week-long holiday.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's talk a little bit. We have it in the background, the Undeniably Dairy program. This is something that changed from the Got Milk program. This has replaced that. So how's that been received?
Yeah, you know, Undeniably Dairy is really reconnecting consumers to the joy of dairy. You know, we trust dairy as essential to our lives, and Undeniably Dairy gives folks a chance just to reconnect. So at undeniablydairy.org, you can find out more information. But ultimately, whether it's fluid milk, cheese, yogurt, ice cream, it's just enjoying all of the portfolio of dairy products. You know, we've seen butter, for example, really have a resurgence because the science behind butter and butter fat is becoming top of mind, and now knowing the nutritional and health benefits of cardiovascular health tied to butter directly, those are the kinds of things that we're talking about, making sure we have that joy and returning to something that's always a comfort in our lives, and that is that of dairy foods.
Again, talking with Lucas Lentsch. He's with the Midwest Dairy Association as the CEO. Now, coming up here in February, of course, just up the road from Durand in Minneapolis, Super Bowl 52.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that Midwest Dairy and the dairy checkoff and the dairy industry are going to be heavily involved at the Super Bowl.
We are, you know, and part of that's a 10-year history of Fuel Up to Play 60. Over 70,000 schools across the country utilize the Fuel Up to Play 60 program, and that's in partnership with the NFL. So the tie-in to the Super Bowl is really a culmination not only of the NFL games, but also that of our student ambassadors that we've been meeting across the country, and they have their own competitions, and we get to really have the access to the super kid that it gets selected at the end of the game of all of the year's investment in nutrition and school and health and wellness. They get a chance to really attend that as well. And so the 9 days leading up to the Super Bowl is called the NFL Experience, and the dairy farmers are going to be there talking about dairy nutrition as well, in conjunction with the plays of the Fuel Up to Play 60 and staying active 60 minutes a day.
One of those things with dairy nutrition I'm thinking is going to be talked about, at least I would assume, is used to be whole milk. Oh, it was the bad news. Oh, you got to. Yeah. All of a sudden, USDA and all the nutritionists are kind of like my daughter's old pediatrician back in the 90s who said, just have whole milk, nothing more. That's all you need. And we're starting to see that might be the case.
Yeah. Well, you can look at even in the grocery store category, whole milk is flying off the shelves, and that's great news for dairy. But it's also great news for our health. We've come back to understand that the milk fat in a glass of milk is directly tied to a child's early brain development. So there's first and foremost. But if you're also someone who's trying to watch your weight or have a balanced diet, the satiety effect or the satisfied feeling of having a whole fat dairy product is hugely important to preventing the cravings of overeating in the rest of your day. And so whether it be a whole fat yogurt or a whole fat milk or a whole fat cheese, really enjoy the fat because the science is there to back it up, but it's also a part of a balanced diet in recognizing that dairy fat works well in our children, but also in our own adult bodies. And another caveat to that is to keep in mind that fluid milk and the access to that calcium. There's a lot of products out there trying to be like dairy, and you know, our children don't know what to believe anymore because of all the communications coming at them. Really getting back to the basics of understanding a healthy body and healthy bone structure is directly attributed to the dairy products you consume.
It is an exciting time. Lucas, again, thanks for joining us.
Hey, glad to be with you. Thank
Lucas
you.
Lentsch, he's the CEO with the Midwest Dairy Association. We are at the NAFB convention in Kansas City. I'm Brian Winnikins for Real Country 1430 WRDN.